Alright guys, AshBFC here for my final video of the year, and it's going to be my top 10 games of 2018. So, oh man, I'll tell you what, it's been a pretty ridiculous year for games, hasn't it? It's been crazy. So many games have been coming out just non-stop, so many amazing games. It's been overwhelming, and I haven't been able to keep up, like not even close. Like, some of the games on this list I've not even beat, and there's a bunch of games I've not even got around to playing that could have easily made it on this list. I could have done with more time, but if I don't do this video now, I'm never doing it because, well, I'm lazy. I'm such a procrastinator. So I've forced myself to sit down and get this goddamn video done. So here we go. Here are all my top 10 games of 2018. So up first, at number 10, it's Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise on the PS4. And what a great game this turned out to be. So this is based off a very popular Japanese manga and anime of the same name, Fist of the North Star, which it's from the 80s, so yeah, pretty old, and heavily inspired by Mad Max, I believe. Now, this game is actually developed by the same team that do the Yakuza games, and there's a hell of a lot of the Yakuza DNA in this game, but it's got its own stuff. But yeah, it's that sort of semi, open world game, bit of free roaming, great story to go along with it. A lot of mini games, a lot of content, a lot of fighting. But the main character, Kenshiro, I think his name is. Some terrible Japanese names, but he's like super OP. He can kill people with a single touch. Like he like touches their like vital point or something like that, and he can make their heads explode and kill them in all sorts of violent ways. It's absolutely bloodbath. This game, the combat is so much fun. It's quite comical the way he can kill people, but yeah, it's an absolute blast, and definitely worth checking out if you're familiar with Fist of the North Star or not, because I wasn't prior to this game, and definitely I think you'll enjoy it if you are a fan of the Yakuza games. And speaking of Yakuza, that brings me to number 9, which is Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, I think it was a subtitle, on PS4. And again, another amazing Yakuza game. I've harped on about this series so much, but I'll say it again, most underrated video game series ever. So yeah, Yakuza 6, a little bit sad in a way because it's the final game to feature Kazuma Kiryu as the main protagonist. He's been the main guy since the series came out back in 2005 on the PS2, but it probably was time to wrap it up now, and I think they did a great job. I thought it was a really good send-off for him. But the game's just, it's typical Yakuza. You got all your mini games, all your side content, great story. Got that mix of humour and seriousness and, wackiness and the dark stuff in there. Awesome combat with all your heat moves and stuff. And this was the first Yakuza game to be done on the brand new engine called the Dragon Engine, which, brought a lot of improvements. The series has never looked so good. Physics and destructibility, all stuff like that. But I do think they had to make a few cutbacks because time was spent on the engine, so it probably is a little bit lighter on content than some of the other stuff, and I don't think story-wise it was as strong as some of the previous ones, but it does make up for that in a lot of other ways, and it is another phenomenal Yakuza game. As I said, a really good send-off for Kazuma Kiryu, and I would put it up there as one of the best Yakuza games. Really, really good. Alright, so at number 8, it's a Nintendo Switch game, and it is Octopath Traveler. A cracking little JRPG, and I do love my JRPGs, especially the traditional ones, and this is quite traditional in a lot of ways, although it does break the mold as well in some ways. But I just love the graphical style of this game. It's quite retro but modern at the same time. It's sort of got that 16-bit Super Nintendo look with a sort of a 2.5D style to it in HD. It's quite an interesting look. I really like it. Love the whole aesthetics of it. And oh, the music, wow, what an incredible soundtrack for this game. It just fits, so perfect. But as I said, it's quite traditional in a lot of ways. You go to your different towns and you've got inns and weapon shops and armor shops and all that stuff, and you can change all the classes of your characters, thieves, mage, all that sort of stuff. And it's got your turn-based combat, and I've always loved all that stuff in JRPGs. It's quite interesting as well that you've actually got 8 different characters, hence the name Octopath Traveler, and they all have their own stories, and you'll unlock different chapters for them as you go on. You can choose what order you want to do them in. So, and I thought it was interesting in that sense, rather than just like, the chosen hero, a bunch of heroes come together to save the world from being plunged into darkness by the evil king or something like that. As I said, they've all got their own individual stories. They're not amazing stories or anything like that. The stories aren't the strong part of this game, but I still thought, you know, they're pretty fun. I really do enjoy the combat in this game, the turn-based combat. You'll have to find enemies' weaknesses and then use them against them, and they also have like a shield. You have to break them to stun them, and then you can really start to rack up some damage. It's a really good combat system, which is, I think, is pretty important in a JRPG. But overall, a cracking little JRPG on the Switch, and I've still got quite a lot more hours playing to this game, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun so far with it. So yeah, Octopath Traveler. And for number 7, another JRPG, the latest entry in one of my all-time favourite JRPG series, maybe even my favourite, I'm not sure, but that is Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest 11. Echoes of an Elusive Age, I think the subtitle. They always have weird subtitles, don't they, for games in Japan, like really long ones. But like, yeah, Dragon Quest 11. Another awesome entry in this long-running series. This series is older than I am, and there's never been a bad entry. They're all amazing, every one of them, which may be my reason to say I prefer it to Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy may have the more memorable games. They've got deeper stories and characters, but Final Fantasy's had its duds in the series, you know. Dragon Quest hasn't. They're all awesome. And Dragon Quest 11 is shaping up to be my favourite one yet. Still got a long way to go in it, but oh, I'm loving it. I mean, it's very traditional. That's what Dragon Quest is. It's always remained very traditional, and, you know, it's stuck to its roots, but I love that. There's just so much charm as well with Dragon Quest. So I've got a smile on my face when I'm playing Dragon Quest. I love it. Classic turn-based combat, all that stuff. Love the graphical style of this game as well, and great to have Dragon Quest back on, you know, console. It's the first main entry Dragon Quest on console since Dragon Quest 8, which came out on PS2. That's how long it's been. And then there was Dragon Quest 9, which was DS, and the rest have been remakes on DS and 3DS. So yeah, it's about time Dragon Quest finally made its way to console, and actually it's also on PC as well. But yeah, it's another awesome entry. I just love Dragon Quest, I really do. So yeah, Dragon Quest 11, Echoes of an Elusive Age. I hope I've got that subtitle right. Let's just call it Dragon Quest 11, right? Alright, and for number 6, it is SpiderMan on the PS4. And I'll go ahead and say it straight away. Best Spider-Man game ever made. Oh, it's about time Spider-Man got taken away from Activision, because the Spider-Man games have sucked for years and years now. Because Activision, they're easily the number 2 worst company behind EA. Of course they are. And they're just, you know, just quantity over quality with those guys. They've been garbage. The Spider-Man games have been garbage, but no, Sony got the license. They gave it to veteran developer Insomniac, and they absolutely nailed it. Such an awesome Spider-Man game. Great to have fun once again playing a Spider-Man game. I mean, Spider-Man's never looked better. Graphically, it looks amazing. The swinging is so much fun, just zipping around, and a really good main story to the game. I'd say better than any of the movies. You know, the combat's really good as well. Just an absolute blast with this game. Was let down a little bit by the side content. Definitely not its strong point. A bit of a collectathon in some ways, and a bit repetitive with its side activities, but you know, the main sort of, you know, campaign was so good. You know, I'll let that slide. But if there is a sequel, I'm pretty sure there is going to be. Hopefully they'll fix that and mix up a little bit with the side content. But yeah, as I said, best Spider-Man game ever. Definitely. Really, really good Spider-Man game. Just keep the series now with Sony Insomniac. It's in safe hands. Now, if only we could get the Star Wars license away from Electronic Arts, maybe we could finally enjoy Star Wars games again. Fuck yeah! Alright, slap bang in the middle of his list. At number 5, it is Yakuza Kiwami 2. Yep, another Yakuza game. So Kiwami 2 is a full remake of Yakuza 2, which came out on the PS2. Just like Yakuza Kiwami was a full remake of the original Yakuza, which also came out on the PS2. And once again, another game, another remake that manages to be better than the original. This has happened quite a few times now in gaming, never with movies, but oh no, it can happen with games. And yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic remake, improves on the original in every way. Again, uses the Dragon engine, so you know, it looks amazing, and I feel like they had more time with this game than they did with 6, so it feels a bit heavier on content, a bit more polished, and yeah, just another fantastic game. Yakuza 2 is one of my personal favourite entries in the series, especially for its story. I love the story. It's a very faithful remake as well. And yeah, they nailed it. It's absolutely brilliant. Alright, annoyingly the battery died there, so let's just move on to number 4, which is Hitman 2. The new Hitman 2, not the other Hitman 2. It's very confusing now, isn't it, with games and the numbering system and stuff. So we've got like 2 Hitman 2s, 2 Hitmans, like 2 Tomb Raiders, 2 Dooms, but then we've got things like Battlefield 1. What is going on? But anyway, look, Hitman 2, another brilliant entry in the long-running Hitman series. I mean, I've been a Hitman fan since day one. Like, holy crap, Conan 47, it was 2000, wasn't it, when that came out? Wow, it's an old series now. But yeah, Hitman 2 is brilliant. It's quite a bit more of the same we got in the past game, which I also thought was brilliant, but none of that episodic crap, which really annoyed me last time. You got the full game right from the get-go, and you got the previous game as well, so you got a lot of content, and it's just that great Hitman sandbox gameplay. It's how it should be, with really creative ways to take out your targets. Like, IO Interactive must be pretty fucked up in their head the way they come up with some of this stuff, and I mean that in a good way, but it's got really, really good level design. And I just love figuring it all out. That's one of the most fun things about Hitman to me. Is it might seem overwhelming at first with some like large levels, but as you start to figure things out, you know, finding certain keys or key cards, and you know what leads where, little secret passages, what disguises can get you past what, and then when it all starts to click and you pull off those hits, it's just so satisfying. That's what I love about Hitman. And yeah, Hitman 2 is brilliant. It really is. I'm still going to say Blood Money is the best, but I think I'll put this as second best. It ain't that far behind. It's really, really good. Alright, so number 3. Biggest surprise for me this year. Like, wow. It's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I'm going to have to give Ubisoft credit here, because they've really turned this series around. I mean, I've shat on Ubisoft a lot in the past, and I stand by all that. They've been shitty. I don't agree with their business practices. They've had this tendency to chuck out the same old games. There's been the whole downgrade, crap PC ports, so on and so on. But they do seem to have been a lot better lately, and the Odyssey is, I honestly think it's the best Assassin's Creed game yet. I thought the series was dead after Unity. That abomination, I thought they'd killed it. But they did redeem themselves a little bit with Syndicate, which was a solid game, but it was still been there, done that. It was like, come on, you've really got to change this series up, and they took a year off and they gave us the brilliant Origins, but then they've topped that now with Odyssey. I think the series is the most fun it's ever been. I mean, you can argue that you don't really feel like an assassin anymore, and that's fair enough, you kind of don't, but just in terms of overall fun, I think it's the best it's ever been. I mean, the Greek setting in this ancient Greek open world is just amazing. It looks absolutely stunning, so much attention to detail. I've just loved travelling around it, and you know, there's so much to do. I love, you know, I think the climbing's better than ever, the combat's better than ever. I love, you know, the RPG mechanics, how you unlock points and unlock new abilities. Much better mission design, because I think that's something the series has suffered from in the past with bad mission design. Like, you know, the stupid tailing missions and eavesdrop mission, I hated them, they were so bad. But actual fun mission design this time around. A lot of stuff to do, not just, you know, collectathons, like find the chests and feathers and flags like we've had in the past. It's all fun, and there is a hell of a lot of content. A hell of a lot of content. You really do feel like you get his money's worth, which, you know, is often not the case with Ubisoft. I mean, there is a season pass for this game, but I don't feel like anything's been taken out, so it doesn't annoy me that much. I really feel like I got my money's worth. There's so much content. I think it is the biggest Assassin's Creed game they've ever made, and yeah, I've just had an absolute blast with it. I'm just so surprised at how good this game actually turned out to be, because I had damn near given up on the series, I'll be honest with you. But no, I'm going to give Ubisoft credit. Odyssey is an absolutely fantastic game, and I do believe they are again taking next year off as well. So yeah, I think if they keep doing this Assassin's Creed, they can keep it fresh, keep it great. So it's a good smart move there. So I take my hat to Ubisoft. Good job. Alright, so on to number 2. A game which is probably a lot of people's number 1, but that is Red Dead Redemption 2. A game we waited, what, 8 years for? And holy crap, was it worth the wait, because, whoa, Rockstar delivered. They really did. What a game. I'm not going to talk about the online. The online is a cancerous piece of garbage. I hate it, but to me, it's a totally separate thing. It's not why I bought Red Dead. We're just going to ignore that. when we talk about the amazing single player experience. It really is incredible. I think Rockstar have raised the bar in open world games. I mean, I've never seen an open world game that just feels so alive. There's just so much stuff going on, so many interactions. I just loved, you know, exploring the world on my horse, because you never knew what was going to happen. There's so many distractions. Like, we've got so many games that are open world now, and they create this massive map so they can brag about how many square miles it is, but also it's just empty and boring and ends up just being tedious to travel across. But not with this game. I'm surprised I've seen people complain about the lack of a fast travel system or how limited it is, because at no point did I ever feel a need for it. I love just exploring, because there was always things happening. Yeah, I mean, multiple times I was like, right, come on, let's get a story mission done, let's do some story stuff. But then I'd just be distracted on my way to it, and there'd be other stuff happening. It's just incredibly, the attention to detail is unbelievable. It really is. I think something that could only be pulled off with such a long development cycle. It truly is incredible. I think it's fair to say the best looking open world game ever made, and a fantastic story to go with it as well. Rockstar just get better and better, don't they, with their writing. I mean, they really are good. They can do the humour, they can do the serious stuff, they can do the dark stuff, they can do the sad stuff, that's for sure. And fantastic voice acting, and Arthur Morgan is my favourite Rockstar character. I didn't think they'd be able to top John Marston, but nope, Arthur Morgan's my favourite. Really good. Yeah, just a phenomenal experience. It really is. I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, Red Dead's just been all over the place, so yeah, but I think it deserves all the praise it gets. It's really good. Shame about the online, but whatever. It's not why I bought it. But yeah, incredible game, absolutely incredible. So that, of course, now brings us to number one, my game of the year. It's God of War. Of course it is. It just had to be. Absolutely blown away by this game. I mean, it exceeded my expectations. Now, I don't let myself get hyped up for games anymore. That's been the case for a long while. I learned my lesson a long time ago. It's a bad thing to do, but there are exceptions, and I did allow myself to get hyped up for God of War because I knew it'd deliver, and it did, and then some. It's one of the most amazing games I've ever played. Good God. I mean, God of War is easily one of my all-time favourite video game series, and, you know, it was a long wait, you know, in between the last game, which was, what was the last God of War game? What was the last God of War game? PS3. What was it called? I forgot its name, and I just call myself a huge God of War fan, but it's been a while, and God of War's return and Kratos' return with absolute vengeance. The series is better than ever. This is easily the best God of War game there's ever been, and if you want a PS4 and don't own this game, I think it should be punishable by death. Really. Just an incredible experience. It's the most visually stunning game I've ever seen, and I mean, it brought a lot of new changes. The game is considered a soft reboot, sort of new mechanics and sort of starting a new story this time round. But at its core, it still did feel like God of War to me, but, you know, it did have a lot of new stuff, but all the new changes were for the best, you know. I mean, we got how many games in the old style? We got 2 PS2 games, 3 PS3 games, 2 PSP games, so it was time for a change, and I do think games, you know, you have to change, you can't just keep doing the same thing, and yeah, it's just amazing. And the whole the camera sort of over the shoulder thing was incredible, because no cuts in this game. It's all done with one camera. I think about that. That's incredible how they pulled that off, and how much harder that must have been to develop. That's crazy. And you know, the combat's so much better. I love the RPG mechanics in there. Amazing boss fights. Just all those epic moments we've come to know and love from God of War, where you're just looking, thinking, holy shit, look at this. Just amazing stuff. And a bit more open world, this one. You know, side missions and things to do, and I just couldn't stop playing it. It's one of those games where I have to force myself to, like, you know, go to fucking bed, because I'm just there playing. That doesn't tend to happen. As I get older now, I can't have long gaming sessions. I easily get bored and just need to take a break, but this game I could not stop playing. And the story as well, deepest story we've ever had. in God of War. We are seeing a different Kratos this time round, and I think it makes him that much more interesting. I mean, the Kratos in the past from, you know, God of War 1 to 3 was just an angry dude, crazy powerful and just really out for vengeance. That's kind of what they were. He's just out for vengeance against the gods. He was going to take them down one way or another, not caring about what happened to him or any of the consequences. You know, I mean, he lost everything. He had nothing to lose. He was taking them down, and God, did he decimate those gods. He smashed Zeus's face into oblivion. But this time around, he has something to lose. He has his son with him, Atreus, and it makes him much more vulnerable. I mean, you see moments of worry, even fear on him this time round, because he has something to lose. And I love that. The whole, you know, Kratos and his son, it worked so well. So good. Fantastic story. Cory Barlog is a goddamn genius. He's up there to me with Shigeru Miyamoto and Hideo Kojima. He's a god in this industry. Just phenomenal. I'm going to have to stop myself because I'll just keep going on about how much I love this game. As I said, it's one of the greatest games I've ever played. And no doubt in my mind, it had to be my game of the year. It's one of the best games of the generation. Best games ever. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. So there you go. That's my #1 game of the year. And that's my overall top 10 games of the year. Yeah, an absolutely incredible year for games. But there's lots of other games as well. Honourable mention, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Ni no Kuni 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance. The list goes on and on and on. So many games. Just so little time. Absolutely brilliant. And I think EA have been proven wrong once again. Single player games aren't dead. They're far from it. You know, God of War and SpiderMan, both single player games, both console exclusives, PS4 exclusives, sold really, really well. So EA, you can fuck off. Single player games aren't dead. People still do want them. They can still be profitable. Shut the fuck up. So yeah. So well, that's the video, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next year.